Hello, honorable members of the clan. So let's go to the Gauteng High Court after 3 hours of consultation between the lawyer that is representing accused number 3 and accused number 5 for their unconstitutional accommodation at Jose Mampuru. And well, it sounds like the consultation was not complete because there was an order that Judge Rata made that the accused should be brought to court an hour earlier so that they can continue with their representative to, with their consultation. That is what I think I picked up after the long adjournment. Well, after that, of course, Mr. Ramosepele just took to the floor and said, I had an objection that I withdrew and I'm bringing it back. If you remember very well, I was a little bit, in case you're wondering what this is freshen. I'm feeling a little bit constipated. I find that the more I'm getting older, the belly is not doing me justice. Anyways, let me not bore you and probably even disgust you. This is freshen, in case you are wondering. I'm trying to get it softened up so that by midnight, the job will be done. All right, anyways, let's continue. Mr. Ramosepele was like, wait, hang on a minute. Let's go back to the records where Miss Zandile Khumalo, because I did mention in my video, I'm like, I didn't understand why Mr. Ramosepele withdrew his objection because it was correct. When they came back from the hospital after Senzo was declared deceased, they went back to the Khumalo house and Zandile said, her mom remembered that her cell phone was busy charging on the stove, and indeed it was found on the stove, and Senzo's cell phone was found underneath the stove. Now, that where I found it quite interesting, where Mr. Baloy kind of like laughed. And then he says, oh no, this is going to be explained as if there's something big that they discovered. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is the stuff that we've been accustomed to already. That when they are caught in a lie, they come back to correct it, because that's exactly what Baloy and Ginindo, who answered before Baloy, is like, oh yeah, we are still going to get there. And I was like, shouldn't Baloy, the prosecutor, tell the Lord of the court that, hey, we are still coming there and we're going to explain that? What is there to explain? The eyewitness herself said the cell phone was found on top of the stove when they returned from the hospital, and Senzo's phone was found underneath the stove. Yet, it says that all their cell phones they pinged at clinics. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe the explanation is that they share the same tower. But now I have to ask the distance between the Khumalo house, Kutlanong Street, to the clinic. Just like somebody also mentioned who says they stayed in Spraidview. And I'm taking it Spraidview is Fosloras, right? You see, I read your comments. I can't respond. Some I can, some I can't. And you said sometimes your cell phone pings from Luleki Street while you are in Spraidview. And then I remember that I also, once upon a time when I lived in Durban, my cell phone, instead of pinging in my township, it was pinging in Pinetown, for example. It was, yeah, Pinetown. And I'd be like, but shouldn't I pick up from the nearest would be Pietermaritzburg or Kitteridge? At least Kitteridge. But why are you pinging me all the way to Pinetown? I did not understand what was happening there for me. But other than that, I think that's what they are going to say, that, yeah, the clinic's tower will ping everybody's cell phone. I don't know what the excuse is going to be. I'm just assuming this is the explanation they are going to give, because this is what Baloy told the judge. The judge kind of like sounded a little bit relieved that, oh, thank goodness we got something that is going to be explained so that I can put it in my judgment and say, I believe that's what happened. That's, I don't know, guys. that courtroom is interesting. For me, in as much as the matter that you are discussing is a serious matter, and not only just Senzo Mewa, but the matter of the criminal justice system itself, and then you look at the judiciary itself, how it's playing itself out, and the more we watch this case, the more, for me, I think I've told you guys this, that I always believed in the judiciary of this country. I always believed in the independence of the judiciary of this country. However, I was always suspicious of the criminal justice system of this country, starting from the police, including the magistrates court, because that is where the corruption, I always believed, plays a huge role. And then once the matter gets into the high court, that's where it gets a little bit muddy for those that want to be corrupt, try to corrupt a judge. You can't, I always believe that you can't corrupt a judge, and also you can't influence a judge. A judge cannot influence another judge to make a certain decision. I think if we come back to the story of Judge Hlophe, who is now a former Judge Hlophe because he's been impeached, I don't know what he said to who about the former president's corruption case, and then that judge went and laid a complaint. And that's how I knew that the judiciary of this country is safe, because that other judge was like, you are being unethical. And then went and reported Judge Hlophe, who, by the way, denies this, like adamantly denies it. But I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. But the point that I'm trying to make is my thoughts of the independence of our judiciary was intact. And I've also thought about 2016, 2015, sometimes as far back as 2011, 14. I do believe there may have been an attempt to capture the judiciary. Now, the question is, there are factions that were taking place in the ruling part, but which part of the faction that actually managed to capture the judiciary? And now all of this is playing itself out in this court. That's all that I am trying to wrap my two IQs about. And I'm thinking, you know what? It might not be true. It might not be true. But what we are witnessing, it's making my thoughts of the judiciary and its independence diminish in my head. Like, I am beginning to think, something ain't right here. And I don't like that feeling at all, because once you capture the judiciary, that is it for our democracy as we know it. I know already there's a big complaint that we are having, some of us South Africans, it's as if we had like an aha moment about NGOs in this country, some of which are owned by foreign nationals. And I'm not just talking African nationals, I'm talking European nationals that are causing what I would think is a divide and rule, or rule and divide, whatever the say goes. You know me and yin yangs. And so we are like, no. These NGOs, they are coming and misusing the loopholes or the lacuna in our constitution to fight against us, the people of South Africa. And the judiciary seems to be folding into that, instead of saying, listen, when the Constitution of the Republic was formed, it was for South Africans. That is why you don't see words such as citizen of South Africa or South African. It says everyone. Now, that is the advantage that they are taking at us, that now when you come into South Africa, you are now protected by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, whether you are legally here or illegally here. The moment you enter our international space station, space, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why my mind is shooting up into the atmosphere. You're automatically protected by the Constitution. So now these NGOs are using them against us, which now one has to ask ourselves, are the judiciary in this aspect captured by the NGOs or crippled by the NGOs to take decisions that are not in the best interest of South Africans? So now we're having this matter, and it's exposing another aspect of the judiciary. Now we have to ask ourselves, is everything still okay, or should we worry? You look at our media as well. Our media is supposed to be the watchdog or the vanguard of democracy. But when you are sitting and you are listening to them, you're like, hang on a minute, that couldn't be right. A viewer and a person that is living in a constitutional democracy when they are listening to the news or to some kind of commentary coming from a news channel, one must not go. I get that there might be differences of opinion and battle of ideas, get it? But when it sounds as though a media house has taken a position, then what chances does the South African constitutional democracy have? So all of this that is happening in the North Gauteng High Court, for me personally, I don't know about other South Africans, it's beginning to make me ask a lot of questions. The things that I knew, they're seemingly not exactly how they are or supposed to be. I don't know, guys. That's just my two IQs going wild. So when Mr. Balo and Kininda at the same time telling the judge they are going to explain this cell phone of Senzo being under the stove and Makumalo's on top of the stove because she was charging. And then we have two intruders who, by the way, left with nothing. That's what they said. They left with nothing. I don't know, guys. Hey, it's a lot. Kuningi, 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 as my colleague would say, and she's alone. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all so much. I don't know what's happening at this point. We'll just continue to watch the charade going on, and then we'll just come and do our little commentary on that. Again, guys, these are just our opinions, our speculations. We have no facts about any of this that we are talking about, but that does not mean we don't have a brain, though. We do have a brain. It just so happens that our brains, sometimes they are far ahead, and sometimes we have to saying, no, come back, come back, come back. Be with the rest of us. Sometimes just assume a 30% position, because I think those people are the most peaceful. Not peaceful. They are at peace with being stupid. I don't know. Guys, let's see each other let's see each other again in my next video. I'm not quite sure when that is going to, no, it's going to be tomorrow, I promise you. But yeah, the court did adjourn until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Let's see each other tomorrow then, guys. Goodbye.